This is Camnet News. Thank you so much for choosing us. My name is Sharon Kalimbola. The top stories on our desk this evening: ECL'S former bodyguard CHANDA to face High Court for hiding a murder curse. KCM liquidator MILINGO LUNGU denies stealing over 17 million kwacha from KCM. Government working round the clock to ensure girls stay in school. In international news, 2 former warlords still held hostage by militia in Congo, ITURI. And in sports news, Zambia versus Zambia to help coach prepare select final team.
Tonight, 7th March 2022, on National Matters, join Pastor Moses Chiluba with his guest Tabo Kawana, Director Spokesperson, Minister of Information and Media.
The 30,000 teachers that are being brought on board cannot come on board until the system is cleaned up. And the dedication to do the cleanup is what you have been able to see today, and you're able to show the nation. This is a program that started from the district, culminating to the province, and now it's at national level and about to conclude. They are done 90% work, and you can see the dedication of the men and women. This is the civil service that is in the new Dawn administration.
As they discuss governance issues.
Invite others to participate through phoning on Skype, Zoom, WhatsApp and text messages. Make a date with us. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
We still need more players, yes, because we need to balance the team. We need to have maybe on one position 3 or 4 players.
The third Camnet Stars football trial is on. This time, Camnet Stars are looking for young, talented and skilled soccer players between the age of 18 and 20 years old. Start your lucrative football career in Europe this July. If you know you are one of Zambia's best gifted soccer players, don't waste your time. On Sunday, the 13th March 2022, there will be trials for professional soccer stars. Venue, Kablonga Boys Secondary School grounds. Time, registration 13 hours. Kick-off 14 hours. 100 kwacha non-refundable shall be paid, and your birth records must be produced upon registration. Camnet Stars, setting football standards for international market.
Police in Kasama are keeping in custody a Patriotic Front member identified as Abraham Simukoko for unknown reasons. Patriotic Front member Emmanuel Mwamba has condemned the arrest of its party member, who is believed to have been arrested by some suspected United Party for National Development members and later locked up in police custody. Details in this report.
Friday, 14th March 2022, police in Kasama district of Northern Province arrested a Patriotic Front member identified as Abraham Simukoko, who has been in police custody since his arrest. The development has angered some party officials in the district, who have explained that the arrest of Mr. Simukoko was done by the United Party for National Development UPND cadres, who later locked him up in police custody, where he has spent 3 nights already. One of the affected, Tandizani Mbewe, explained that he was part of those who were attacked by the cadres.
I'm also recording a statement inside there, so that we follow up the case of my lost properties, which were in the same vehicle when the UPND cadres jumped into my vehicle without my knowledge or without my permission. We'll keep you updated as things unfold.
Ababula amakaddazi n'ababula ensito y'abapoliisi ebale bomba ebale leeta abantu obale monati bamirandu pa poliisi mustedi ba poliisi ebo baye bayikati abantu balete pa poliisi so tatuishibe kwecharo chirero lamani kakula ikatira fye wairetera we mwine pa poliisi okwete mirandu olokwisa eba poliisi baya ikata apo natushalirako ba UPND ngabaleta omuntu kuno kuma sales balesa naboma takuleba no kumwipusha chinshi twakwikatira okulonga pepa ntuwishire ni UPND international zangire ba UPND balabe n'abantu bamobere n'abawumine baddawo balabe n'abantu bamobere n'abawumine oyo abantu bonse bale bonfya ukwe bati bale kata abantu nga bale tamma sales naptulero so tatulapoka na police bond yakwe bati bamupere uko bayishe mu katala bakadda tatulaishiwa no mulandu nshi.
And Patriotic Front member Emmanuel Mwamba has condemned the arrest of Mr. Simukoko, which he has described as a political move, and has wondered why cadres are now doing the job of the police.
Complaint to the police commissioner for Northern Province that he has allowed party cadres to conduct these arrests and have people locked up in state facilities. We think that that's a role of the police. If any person was injured or has an official criminal complaint against any of the PF members, they should lay such a complaint to the police. They should not take the law unto their own hands. In the case of Boyka here, similarly, that's what happened. The cadres picked him up, beat his daughter, and locked him up in the police. And when he was taken to the courts of law, he's been acquitted. But the police have not processed the case of Boyka and the assault that the party cadres did on his daughter.
Meanwhile, efforts to get a comment from police spokesperson Ray Hamonga over the alleged attack proved futile by broadcast time, as he had not yet responded to the query by this reporter. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Chikankata District Commissioner Timothy Chipolyonga says the local people will only benefit from the Constituency Development Fund if they are provided with machinery to add value to their products. In an interview, the District Commissioner notes that Chikankata District is rich in potatoes and soybeans which can be further manufactured locally to allow farmers get maximum returns. He adds that key to supporting the agriculture sector is ensuring that availability of dams in all areas across the country to allow for irrigation due to changes in climate change.
Despite farmers across the country producing tons of agriculture products annually, few can be seen to graduate from subsistence to commercial farming, citing a number of challenges, among them access to finance. With the increase in Constituency Development Fund CDA from 1.6 million kwacha to 25.7 million kwacha, citizens have been advised to form cooperatives if to fully benefit from the funds. While noting this to be a good move, Chikankata District Commissioner Mr. Timothy Chipolyonga says there is need to invest in machinery for the local people to ensure that they add value to their products. According to a survey by the Civil Society for Scaling Up Nutrition CSOSAN, at least a quarter of food produced by Zambian farmers goes to waste due to poor storage mechanisms, among other reasons. The Chikankata DC says adding value to products could prevent wastage and maximize returns for farmers.
I think the major project that we're looking at is the issue of turning our potatoes into chips. The land is fertile, and when we grow it, it really comes out nicely. So I think once we do that, we'll do value addition, and I think money will be there for the people. We're looking at soybeans. Once we have done that, I think it will add value to the food nutrition of the areas.
He has also emphasized the need to ensure that all districts have water dams in order to help in irrigation due to climate change.
Like here where we are, yes, the first rains, the last time we had the rains were the first week of February, here where we are. But then other areas, I think they've had isolated showers. But right now, if we went to inspect one of the fields, you'll see that the maize has dried up. So it's a big challenge. We also look at where we can get money so that we put up dams. Now these dams, we use them for irrigation. We have a lot of areas that we can put dams. As you know, climate change has affected us mostly.
Among the products that can be manufactured locally by farmers on a large scale are maize beverages, snacks, and soya chunks, among others. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Chikankata District.
Meanwhile, an advocate for the welfare of street children, Catherine Lombe, has called for programs that will ensure that this group of people benefits from the Constituency Development Fund. In an interview, Ms. Lombe notes that street children face a number of challenges, among them high risk of contracting HIV and AIDS, teenage pregnancies, and poor levels of hygiene and sanitation, among others. She explains that they can benefit through identifying and funding the local non-government organizations trying to address the plight of street children.
We have our leaders, the MPs, we also have councillors, we also have other stakeholders and the community members. So we need to advocate on the streetism concerning the street kids, those kids on the streets, because they are also part of these CDF funds where they will also need certain support. Our government and our MPs, also the councillors, can come on board and help to locate at least 5% out of the amount to be helping or to provide support to the street kids. Let me give an example. If I am a parent and I have children at home, if one of my children are left out without being supported, meaning that I'll contribute to their problems, meaning that the problems will increase. Streetism that we are talking about today will increase because they are not helped. We are talking about alcoholism. We are talking about dangers of substance use. So our appeal is that let the government include the street kids as well to be put on the budget for the CDF.
The Christian Coalition President, Professor Charles Mwape, has appealed to the United Party for National Development Administration to recognize the role that the church plays in development in order to avert issues of concern such as corruption in the country. In an interview, Professor Charles Mwape notes that the church is a major stakeholder in development, and Zambia, being a Christian nation, has the need to ensure that the clergy are recognized for various positions in governance. Meanwhile, Independent Churches of Zambia ICO's president, Bishop David Masuba, says as a matter of moral concern, there is need to conduct regular inspections to ensure that incidences such as torture of suspects in cells are not happening.
According to the 2020 Corruption Perception Index CPI score as compiled by the Transparency International Zambia TIZ, Zambia ranked number 33 out of 100 countries, which indicated that there was an increase in corruption from 2019, where it ranked as number 34. The CPI score shows the degree of a country's corruption as compiled by the Business World and country analysts, with a higher score indicating low corruption levels, while a lower score indicates high corruption levels. A clergyman, Professor Charles Mwape, who is also president of the Christian Coalition, states that incidences like these, which are detrimental to the country's development, could be averted if the clergy rose to key positions of governance. In an interview, the clergyman notes that while the church can condemn vices like alcohol abuse and prostitution, they need to be in decision-making positions if to adequately contribute to development and handle moral concerns in the country.
We are looking forward to a more collaborative and a consultative approach in decision-making that government is making, because in the best interest of the people and the community. Above all, we know that the church and government should develop a mutual understanding on issues that are affecting the welfare and the plight of the Zambian people.
Meanwhile, Independent Churches of Zambia ICO's president, Bishop David Masupa, says the United Party for National Development UPND administration should ensure that its key pronouncements, such as requiring that no suspect should spend more than 48 hours in jail cells, are still being followed.
We loved the police pronouncement of our Republican president, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, when he said a person should not be detained for more than 48 hours if he's a suspect. Let him be taken to court. We have seen that that has fallen on the deaf ear of the police. We are aware of people that have been detained more than that. We voted for you on a promise that there were going to be social, economic, and political transformation of our country, especially on the skyrocketing of the essential commodities I've said this and I want to repeat that there are certain deliberate policies which you could put in place to be able to cushion the prices of the essential commodities whilst we wait for the long-run growth model.
The clergy add that they should be incorporated in all key issues in the country in order to have the voice of the church head, Zambia being a Christian nation. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Beside facing a theft and money laundering charge involving 4.4 million kwacha, Konkola Copper Mines provisional liquidator MILINGO LUNGU has been dragged back to court on the same charges, but now involving over 17 million kwacha. In October 2021, Mr. Lungu pleaded not guilty to stealing 4.4 million kwacha from the same mining company. This morning, the 7th of March 2022, the accused appeared before Lusaka Magistrate Jennifer Wadia and denied 5 counts of theft and 1 count of money laundering involving the said amount, 17 million kwacha. Allegations before court are that the accused is said to have on different dates and months in 2021 being KCM provisional liquidator stole 5 million kwacha, 2 million kwacha and another 5 million kwacha monies believed to belong to the said mining company. Mr. Lungu is also alleged to have in August 2021 stole 250,000 kwacha from Konkola Copper Mines and he had 17 million kwacha 250,000 cash, knowing the same to be proceeds of crime. Upon pleading not guilty to the said charges, the state proceeded to trial by calling their first witness, a bank manager at Zanaco, Simei Ngombo, who testified how he was approached by the Drug Enforcement Commission officers under the Anti-Money Laundering Unit, who requested for bank statement of an account that Mr. Lungu is alleged to have opened and the process which followed. The witness from the bank testified that the account was opened on the 5th of May 2021 and received an amount of 600 million kwacha with a narration bank transfer by KCM. The witness also explained how some various transactions were made to the said account. Trial continues in this matter. Miriam Kemba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Chief Resident Magistrate Dominic Makalicha has committed former President Edgar Lungu's bodyguard Changa to the High Court for trial proceeding in a case he is accused of hiding a person accused of murder. The 53-year-old police officer is alleged to have, on October 6, 2019, harbored the former head of state, Baba Shabi Chilegwa, who is accused of murdering a United Party for National Development member, Lawrence Banda. Miriam Kaimba once again filed this report.
Till he appears before the Lusaka High Court for trial proceedings, following the Director of Public Prosecution's issuance of a concert, CHANDA former President Edgar Lungu's aide-de-camp will have to spend his days thinking how he will save himself from the allegations that have been leveled against him that he assisted or hid a person he knew was a murder suspect. Initially, Mr. Chanda, who is also a Deputy Commissioner of Police, was charged with accessory after the fact to a felony, contrary to Section 397(1) and 398 Cap 87 of the laws of Zambia. However, in the amended charge presented before court Monday morning, the 53-year-old has been slapped with 1 count of accessories after the fact to murder, contrary to Section 217 of the Penal Code, Chapter 87 of the laws of Zambia. Allegations are that Mr. Chanda on October 6, 2019 and February 4, 2022 were knowingly that former President Edgar Lungu's Babaman Shabi Chilekwa allegedly murdered a UPND member Lawrence Banda. Mr. Chanda said to have assisted or harbored him. The said Mr. Chilekwa was recently arrested by the police on allegation that he shot dead the said deceased person, a one Mr. Banda, during the 2019 council chairperson by-elections in Kaoma. The accused, who made his court appearance before Lusaka Chief Resident Magistrate Dominic Makalachi Monday morning, was committed to the Lusaka High Court upon being told that the Director of Public Prosecution DPP had issued consent for his case to be committed to the High Court for trial proceedings. He was further informed after the charge was read to him that the matter he has been slapped with is only trialable by the High Court. Mr. Chanda will soon appear before a Lusaka High Court judge for trial and see how possible he will defend himself from the said allegations. Miriam Kemba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Ministry of Education Permanent Secretary Joel Kamoko has charged that education stakeholders need to change the way the education system is being done to ensure that girls are kept in school. Speaking during the launch of the Girls' Education Advocacy in the Region program Monday, Mr. Kamoko notes that education inequalities are real for the girl child despite many attempts to avert the situation. He says this calls for concerted efforts by looking at what is not being done to support the girls in school. And the National Action for Quality Education in Zambia, who are coordinating this program, have noted that girls face a lot of challenges in accessing education, especially those in rural areas. Organization Executive Director Aaron Chansa says this meeting is aimed at finding solutions to the program.
Government and other relevant stakeholders have over the years supported girl child education, but not much has been realized despite all these efforts. To name a few, the Re-Entry Policy for Girls, Girlwell Project, and now the Free Education Policy introduced in 2022 all have had plans to encourage girls stay in school. However, looking at the precedents, the results have been below par, forcing the education sector players to discuss how the girl child can be helped in attaining education, especially those in rural areas. The National Action for Quality Education in Zambia has launched a project known as the Girls' Education Advocacy in the Region, aimed at finding solutions to many questions regarding girl child education.
The meeting today is about just one project called GEAR, Girls' Education Advocacy in the Region. And as the name implies, we are here to agree to share ideas on how we are going to help the girl child, especially girls in rural areas. Told that in a year, we have more than 15,000 girls dropping out of school. Faweza, am I lying? Yes. Now, why should we sit in our offices when 15,000 girls are dropping out of school? Why should we sit down when Zambia has one of the highest child marriages in the world at 42%, and Rufus is very happy? ZTF and ZMBC and Nakez are very happy. Why can't we come together like this and fight this scourge? Why can't we unite the forces?
Meanwhile, Ministry of Education Permanent Secretary Joel Kamoki says government is aware of the many challenges girls face in accessing education and those in rural areas being worse. Mr. Kamoki says stakeholders should own this project and ensure that they benefit the learners.
In Wapula, the majority of our girls, if you are in Lunga, after grade 4, 5, 6, 7, they are not in class. But grade 1 to 4, they were in class. Where have they gone? So there is a reality about the rural child being unsafe because our cultural practices have not changed. We, the men, still don't want to accept that it took a responsible mother for us to become men. We want to subjugate little girls, destroy their dreams, and keep them in smaller numbers. So the ladies who have made it who are in this meeting, you have a burden to stand tall and also be conscious that the girls you see busy in the night, making what we call prostitution, are a factor of the social dysfunction of our society. And education's challenge is, how can we empower these girls in a practical way? What are we missing when we have had all these programs? I'm happy Faweza is here. I was a founding member of NAKES indirectly through the man, and also ZANEG. So for me, everyone in this room is in the right place. So if we don't value what we've contributed, it's because we don't remember where we came from. Most of you here are not strange faces. So my concern as a government worker is, if the president is calling upon a new dawn, what does it mean? How does he want us to look at the girl child?
Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
EcoBank Zambia women have donated 50,000 kwacha to the Great North Road Rehabilitation Center aimed at cushioning the burden faced by the institution. EcoBank Head of Marketing, Communications and Media, Glenda Kamalata, says this is part of the Women's Day commemoration themed Break the Bias. Mrs. Kamalata notes that EcoBank has shown commitment in ensuring equality between the men and women by offering equal opportunities, with the aim of reaching 50-50 representation by the year 2030. Meanwhile, Center Coordinator Precious Poster says these donated items will go a long way in helping the institution reach its goals.
As the Global Village contains Women's Day, Tuesday, 8th March, reflecting on the challenges that women face, the most being talked about being mental health, EcoBank Zambia women have opted to extend an olive hand to the Great North Road Rehabilitation Center by donating a 50,000 kwacha. Glenda Kamalata is EcoBank Head of Marketing Communications. She led the media delegation to the center with hopes of cheering the people staying at the center. She says the bank is committed to end inequalities by ensuring equal opportunities for both male and female.
We as EcoBank women are committed to initiatives that are progressive in positioning women in a much more equitable manner. Across EcoBank, we are intent on ensuring that women have genuinely equal opportunities to men in achieving promotion, developing their career path, and also ensuring that they reach their full potential. Our aim is to achieve a 50-50 equality by 2030. We hope to see a world that is diverse, equitable, and inclusive, a world where difference is valued and celebrated. So in bridging this gap and riding on this year's theme, we, the women of EcoBank Zambia, decided to come together to contribute an amount of 50,000 kwacha, which we are donating today to Great North Road Academy Rehab Center. Wow. So this was a women initiative by the women themselves. They came together and contributed this amount as a gift to Great North Rehab Academy Center.
And Great North Road Rehabilitation Center Manager Precious Poster says the donation will help with the needs at the center, promising to use the resources for the intended purpose.
One of the first donations that we have received at Great North Road Academy Rehab Center. So for this, I would like to really appreciate you women. Thank you so much for this wonderful gesture. Allow me also to mention that Great North Road caters for both men and women. And at this point, you find that the ratio of women and men is about 4-1 in favor of men. So I would like to encourage every woman out there who's undergoing pressures, who is facing challenges in terms of alcohol, in terms of drug addiction, as well as who might be having suicidal thoughts. Please come through, talk to someone, because in talking to someone, you might receive your healing. Thank you so much, women of EcoBank. May the Almighty God really bless you.
Camnet News, Lusaka.
Keep watching Camnet News. We take our first set of commercials. When we return, we have more interesting stories. Stay with us.
Tonight, 7th March 2022, on National Matters, join Pastor Moses Chiluba with his guest, Tabo Kawana, Director Spokesperson, Minister of Information and Media.
The 30,000 teachers that are being brought on board cannot come on board until the system is cleaned up. And the dedication to do the cleanup is what you have been able to see today and you're able to show the nation. This is a program that started from the district, culminating to the province, and now it's at national level and about to conclude. They are done 90% work, and you can see the dedication of the men and women. This is the civil service that is in the new Dawn administration.
As they discuss governance issues,
invite others to participate through phoning on Skype, Zoom, WhatsApp and text messages. Make a date with us. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
We welcome you to the wonderful world of Zavenda Electronics.
At Zavenda Electronics, we pride ourselves in manufacturing high-quality electricity and water meters.
Boasting of the first of its kind state-of-the-art manufacturing plant in Zambia, Zavenda Electronics manufactures customized smart electricity and water meters of international standards for both the local and international water and electricity utility companies. Our highly computerized factory, run by qualified staff, makes, calibrates, and electronically tests the smart meters to ensure only those meeting customer specifications are delivered to the market. Some of the main features which come with our meters includes notifications about low units, tempering, low battery, and many more customized features. Zavenda Electronics provides on and off-site after-sales service and has favorable contract terms for water and electricity utility companies. Zavenda Electronics, the real deal.
Your skin is the biggest muscle in your body. That's why we make sure that Oracle is #1 when it comes to taking care of your precious skin. Oracle Pure Petroleum Jelly and Glycerin soothes, moisturizes and keeps your skin perfect. Oracle Pure Petroleum products for that perfect skin.
We still need more players, yes, because we need to balance the team. We need to have maybe on one position 3 or 4 players.
The third Camnet Stars football trial is on. This time, Camnet Stars are looking for young, talented and skilled soccer players between the age of 18 and 20 years old. Start your lucrative football career in Europe this July. If you know you are one of Zambia's best gifted soccer players, don't waste your time. On Sunday, the 13th March 2022, there will be trials for professional soccer stars. Venue, Kablonga Boys Secondary School grounds. Time, registration 13 hours. Kick-off 14 hours. 100 kwacha non-refundable shall be paid and your birth records must be produced upon registration. Camnet Stars, setting football standards for international market.
Keep watching Camnet News. Thank you for staying on. Alliance for Accountability Advocates Zambia Executive Director Luchembe Chilufya says the forthcoming youth Indara should look at resolving issues that are affecting the young people in the country. In an interview with Camnet News, Mr. Chilufya says the youths are waiting to hear deliberations that will enhance change on many of the challenges they are facing. He says young people who have acquired different qualifications are eager to hear when they are going to receive their appointment letters of employment.
The youth to be given an opportunity to provide or to give their voice on issues that are affecting them and see how best these issues should be addressed. Of course, for quite a number of years, the challenge has been every after this event is held on Youth Day, the recommendations are shared, and they are banked on the shelves. Every year we come back, we want to make other new resolutions, but the call for this year's Indawa is to act on a number of resolutions that we've been given to the Ministry of Youth and ensure that the issues that affect the youth are addressed. And I think, as we've always been demanding for accountability, we're not far away from the last year's election where a number of promises were made to youth in terms of appointments, in terms of providing spaces for them to participate. These are the same demands that the youths are following up to. So look, we went out and casted our vote in anticipation that will be given the opportunity for us to also be on the decision-making tables. But
the Inter-Africa Governance Network, AFRINET, says it stands with the government of the Republic of Zambia and other countries that took a yes vote in relation to the United Nations General Assembly resolution against Russia's military invasion of Ukraine. Organization Executive Director Maurice Malambo says the UNGA resolution in question is a clarion demand for an immediate ceasefire and dialogue between Russia and Ukraine. Mr. Malambo therefore says the ultimate vote and Zambia's position does not entail a resolution, a position regarding an actual difference between the two countries that have led to the standoff. He says Zambia believes in a non-interference in international politics of other countries or principles of territorial integrity.
Russia-Ukraine conflict, I think it's got far-reaching socio-economic ramifications. As we can see that just under 2 weeks, the global economy has experienced some social downside in terms of the prices of crude oil on the international market are increasing. That is going to have a major and direct impact on developing economies, Zambia in particular. And therefore, there is need for politicians to rally behind the common cause of ensuring that you de-escalate the tension. As a matter of fact, regards the voting by Zambia on the international, at the international forum, the United Nations, as an organization, we're backing that vote because it was a call for a ceasefire unilaterally and dialogue between the two countries. And that vote must be understood in the rightful context that it was not in any sense siding either with Russia or Ukraine. It was in principle a call for a ceasefire unilaterally and the two countries coming on a table of dialogue.
Economist Dr. Patrick Chileche has charged that the Zambian kwacha is likely to continue depreciating owing to the higher interest rates on the global market, which will cause movement in capital back to the United States. Dr. Chileche says the continued depreciation of the Zambian kwacha will also negatively affect consumer prices on the local market. The economist has therefore advised that in the short term, government should consider managing portfolio flows by raising the monetary policy locally. Dr. Chileche, however, says government should, in the long term, try and diversify the export mix, which is totally dependent on copper whose proceeds are not controlled by the country.
From less than 17 kwacha per dollar in December, we are now at 18 kwacha per dollar. And if this trend continues, we are likely to see a situation where we are going to have the exchange rate negatively impacting consumer prices on the market. So what is it that we can do? Really, in the short term, yes, we can play around with monetary policy, which should call for tightening of monetary policy to make sure that we try to manage portfolio flows by raising our interest rates locally. In the medium to long term, I mean, one thing that the government can do is to try and diversify the mix of exports that the Zambian economy does export. We currently rely too much on export of copper, of which much of its production is not controlled by Zambians. So what you have, the problem you have there is that there is externalization of proceeds from the mining sector, and we don't see much of that dollar liquidity flowing into the Zambian market.
The Medical for Quality Healthcare in Zambia has expressed disappointment with what it terms as acute shortage of drugs in almost all public health institutions. Organization Executive Director Dr. Quince Mwavo says according to their survey in the last 2 weeks, it has revealed that most essential drugs have run out and poor people are mostly receiving prescriptions. He says these health institutions are now mere consultancy centers. Dr. Mwabo says this is a barrier towards achieving universal health coverage, and the Ministry of Health must be held accountable for this. He notes that while the ministry is tackling the pandemic of COVID-19, neglecting other components of health systems cannot be condoned, adding that the drugs must be available in clinics and hospitals without any excuse.
This is very sad, and it's an assault to the drive of universal health coverage in the country. And the Ministry of Health, through Zambian Medicine and Medical Supply Agents, they need to be held accountable for this very unfortunate situation, because people are dying in the community because there is no drugs in the hospital and clinics, and they are failing to access these drugs in the hospitals and clinics, and it's very unfortunate. And the Ministry of Finance, they have already funded the Zambian Medicine and Medical Supply Agents to procure drugs for the people of Zambia. But there is still a shortage of drugs in the hospital and clinics, and it is worrying. So we challenge the Zambian Medicine and Medical Supply Agents to procure drugs for the people of Zambia as quickly as possible before the situation gets worse. People in the rural community, they are dying because of this situation. So drugs must be in the hospitals and clinics without any excuse, because if we continue in the same situation, it will be very bad, and we are going to lose a lot of lives.
Government says it remains committed to bettering the lives of the Zambian people across the country without segregation due to ethnicity, color, or denomination. Mazabuka District Commissioner Oliver Mulomba says climate-smart activities being undertaken within the district are meant to benefit all residents and not any particular ethnic grouping. Mr. Mulomba said this in Mazabuka when he took part in the planting of fruit trees at Mazabuka Secondary School under ABSA Zambia Plant a Tree initiative aimed at mitigating the effects of climate change. And ABSA Head of Human Resource and Administration Yomwe Chisamo said the rationale behind the initiative was to involve communities in sustainable and high-impact activities. Meanwhile, Willie Natala, a learner at Mazabuka Secondary School, said the tree planting initiative would help keep the country clean, green, and act as a barrier to climate change. Zanis has more on this story.
As the country continues to grapple with the effects of climate change, stakeholders are identifying activities that may mitigate the adverse effects. Mazabuka District Commissioner Oliver Mulomba has partnered with ABSA Zambia under its Plant a Tree initiative, which seeks to reduce the impact of climate change by planting fruit trees. Mr. Mulomba has assured Mazabuka residents that they all stand to benefit from the initiative, as no ethnic grouping will receive special favors.
I wish to assure you that the new Dawn administration is committed, not only committed, is highly committed to bettering the lives of our people across the country without any segregation of ethnicity, color, denomination, what have you. We are committed as government. Even these trees which are being planted today here in Mazabuka, they are not here to benefit any particular ethnic grouping. That would benefit all the people of Mazabuka across the board.
Yombwech Samu is head of Human Resource and Administration at ABSA Zambia.
You must be wondering, why plant trees? There are so many other things that we could be doing. But ultimately, what we want to do is to be able to do things that are sustainable, things that have a very, very high impact. Since 2000, so the year 2000, we have lost 7.8% of our forest cover. That says something.
This undertaking will enable us and foster and keep our country, Zambia, clean and green. For this reason, the replanting of trees will act as a barrier on climate change.
Angela Mwandu, Zanis, Mazabuka District, Southern Province.
We take another set of comments. When we return, we have sports and international news. Stay with us.
You know I can take her a bit.
Yes, my dear.
I was thinking of getting you a Bugatti on your birthday.
Really?
I'm quiet. My name is Yana.
Don't worry, my dear. That's why there is insurance.
Insurance?
You heard me.
Not just any kind of insurance, but Savenda General Insurance, a company that offers superior customer service, highly professional and dedicated staff. We are not just any insurance company, but an insurance company that actually pays our claims. We cover, among others, fire, marine, aviation, engineering, agriculture, motor vehicle, and miscellaneous insurance. So, live life to the full, knowing that Savenda General Insurance has got you covered. Savenda General Insurance. Insurance excellence.
Team, the trajectory of the business looks very positive, and it looks like we'll be able to launch the ministry.
There's so much data.
Mom? Yes, baby?
It says here, global warming and climate change is caused by the pollution from careless activities of human beings.
Wow!
Son, do you know I can turn my phone into a TV remote?
How's that possible?
It's so easy. Check this out.
Be smart, be fast with mega data from Zamtel. Get your 15 GB mobile data for only 100 kwacha, 30 GB mobile data for only 200 kwacha, and your 70 GB LTE data bundle with free Netflix, YouTube, Facebook, and WhatsApp. Visit our Facebook page, website, or service centers countrywide for more information. Zamtel, your digital lifestyle partner.
Tonight, 7th March 2022, on National Matters, join Pastor Moses Chiluba with his guest Tabo Kawana, Director Spokesperson, Minister of Information and Media.
The 30,000 teachers that are being brought on board cannot come on board until the system is cleaned up. And the dedication to do the cleanup is what you have been able to see today and you're able to show the nation. This is a program that started from the district, culminating to the province, and now it's at national level and about to conclude. They are done 90% work, and you can see the dedication of the men and women. This is the civil service that is in the new Dawn administration.
As they discuss governance issues.
Invite others to participate through phoning on Skype, Zoom, WhatsApp, and text messages. Make a date with us. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
We still need more players, yes, because we need to balance the team. We need to have maybe on one position 3 or 4 players.
The third Camnet Stars football trial is on. This time, Camnet Stars are looking for young, talented and skilled soccer players between the age of 18 and 20 years old. Start your lucrative football career in Europe this July. If you know you are one of Zambia's best gifted soccer players, don't waste your time. On Sunday, the 13th March 2022, there will be trials for professional soccer stars. Venue, Kablonga Boys Secondary School grounds. Time, registration 13 hours. Kick-off 14 hours. 100 kwacha non-refundable shall be paid and your birth records must be produced upon registration. Camnet Stars, setting football standards for international market.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying on. In international news, police detained more than 4,300 people on Sunday at Russia-wide protests against President Vladimir Putin's invasion of Ukraine, according to an independent protest monitoring group. Thousands of protesters chanted "No to the war" and "Shame on you," according to the videos posted on social media by opposition activists and bloggers. Protests against Russia's invasion of Ukraine have been held in multiple countries, with calls for Western powers to do more to broker a peaceful end of the violence. Here is a roundup of international news.
8 negotiators sent by the DR Congo's President Felix Tshisekedi to ITURI to negotiate a ceasefire with armed groups are still being held by the ZAMBIA militia. They were taken prisoners on 16 February, and amongst them are 2 former warlords, Thomas Lubanga and Jemai Katanga, who were previously convicted by the International Criminal Court ICC for war crimes and crimes against humanity in the early 2000s. They were captured in the territory of Jungu, the militia's headquarters. Since then, the authorities have been trying to obtain their release, but the militiamen have set conditions. In addition to an amnesty for its fighters and their integration into the regular army, the ZAMBIA militia has asked for the lifting of the state of siege that has been in place for 10 months in Ituri. They have also called for a halt to military operations in the same province. Since their capture, the hostages have been taken to Gusi, one of the militia's strongholds. This weekend, images of the captives were shared on social networks as proof of life. Thomas Lubanga and 2 other hostages are reportedly ill and without treatment, according to government sources.
If worldwide celebrations for the International Women's Day are just around the corner, in Tamaout, Western Morocco, it is not celebration time. Women's rights activists like Najat Ikhish are still very busy working. The head of local group WTTO fights underage marriage. She is preparing the annual convoy her association organizes through Morocco's remote communities. This visit allows us to put together a list of villages and districts that we feel are marginalized and that need a lot of work. Then we come back for a second visit, during which we name coordinators in these regions and agree on a final route for the convoy. It has been more than 10 years that YTTO volunteers drive through the winding roads of rural Morocco. When they tour small towns, they encounter the same obstacles, precarious livelihoods and long-held traditions which can make their message inaudible. The country's family code puts the legal age of marriage at 18, but it leaves many legal loopholes. Underage marriage in the countryside is due to many factors like poverty, marginalization, a lack of infrastructure, or the fact that young girls don't go to school. In towns and cities, it's caused by several conservative ideas originating from marginalized areas of places like Casablanca, Rabat, Fez or Marrakesh, which say that the place of a young girl is with her husband. In the Souss-Massa region, more than 44% of women are illiterate, a lack of education that hinders the development of skills. If it leaves marriage as the only token of stability, it can turn out to be an ordeal for thousands of girls.
With the crisis in Ukraine deepening on a daily basis, concerns are growing here in London and in other European capitals about the direction of travel of this incredibly unpredictable war. As you can see, the campaign for nuclear disarmament is out in force. Other placards calling for a stop to the war.
I come from Lithuania. I feel like NATO is doing everything they can. I do not necessarily think they should send their troops to Ukraine, at least just yet. I hope we can help with ammunition, support, money, intelligence.
I'm from west of Ukraine. It's terribly painful. We're crying every day. My sister there, my nephew is in Kiev in a basement bomb shelter sitting with family, and it's terribly painful. It's unbelievable. but people of Ukraine are very strong, you know. And
do you think that Western powers could go further than they have done?
Oh, definitely.
In what way?
Firstly, to stop the gas, purchase the gas and oil from Russia, because this is the most important, I think.
There is global disdain for Russia's war in Ukraine. This is Kazakhstan, a former Soviet state, still heavily under the influence of Russia. And this is the Chilean capital, Santiago, where people are calling for an end to the violence. In Russia, there have been courageous acts of defiance in multiple cities. This is St. Petersburg. And this is Moscow, where police are out in force. The Kremlin's threatened to jail demonstrators for 15 years, and it's illegal to call the invasion of Ukraine anything but a special operation. On the edge of Red Square, two protesters sing the Ukrainian national anthem before being dragged away. Large numbers of Russians opposed to the war are now fleeing their country, squeezed by Western sanctions and persecuted by the Russian state. For many of these anti-war demonstrators, we're now at the edge of an abyss that we may not be able to pull ourselves back from. Time now, say many of these demonstrators, for Western leaders to help broker an almost impossible political solution to help bring us all back from the brink.
We go straight into sports news. Squads for the All-Stars versus Copperbelt select sides built for Nkana Stadium on Wednesday have been unveiled. Chipolopolo coach Aljosa Asanovic will lead some of his local guns against the Copperbelt select side that will be drilled by Indeni Football Club coach David Chilofia, who will be assisted by Boyd Molwanda. Both teams are camped at Ndola and will provide the national team more insight on the best of the local players. Another match will be staged in Lusaka as the final checkup of local players by the national team technical bench. Wednesday's match will help Asanovic zero in on local players. That will be part of the Chipolopolo that is set to play 2 international friendly matches on the March 25th and 29th in Paris. Zambia is set to play South Africa and Guinea as part of preparations for the June round of Ivory Coast 2023 Africa Cup of Nations qualifier. Asanovic also has his eyes on local players that he may need for the African Nations Champions qualifier that will kick off in July. Well, that item brings us to the end of our news. The headlines once again. ECL'S former bodyguard Chanda to face High Court for hiding accused murderer. KCM liquidator MILINGO LUNGU denies stealing over 17 million kwacha from KCM. Government working round the clock to ensure girls stay in school. In international news, 2 former warlords still held hostage by militia in DR Congo ITURI area. And in sports news, Zambia to help coach prepare select final team. We now look at the Camnet verse of the day, and it's coming from Matthew 4 verse 4, and it reads, "But he answered, it is written, man must not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of God." Well, thank you so much for choosing Camnet TV. My name is Sharon Kalimbola. Good night.